What is the scientific method?
The scientific method is creating. Well, there's different ways of thinking about science and doing science. I mean, you can. It's creating a hypothesis and creating experiments to test the hypothesis and seeing what happens
Okay,
based on
stop.
the experiments.
Per- Perfect. You create a hypothesis, right? Now, the first step of the scientific method is making an observation. So you can generate a question and then make a hypothesis on it. But the important part you nailed, right? Make a hypothesis, test the hypothesis. What happens if you test your hypothesis and you're right?
Uh, it could mean that the hypothesis is correct, I suppose.
Okay, cool. What happens if you test the hypothesis and you're right, and then other people test the same hypothesis and it's right, and you guys are all doing this over the world over for let's say 50 years?
It would, it would seem to support whatever the hypothesis is to a greater extent.
Okay, right. Do you know how these lineages that are created, these lines on paper, do you know how the research on these lineages is conducted?
The imaginations of evolutionary scientists.
Nope, because you know you're getting
Nope.
trapped. But thank you. You start by making an observation. We need a transitional species between fish and land-dwelling tetrapods. If that
Hold
is
on.
true,
Hold on.
you
Hold on,
understand
hold
what
on,
I'm
hold
saying?
on. You just
No, she's going to finish her sentence.
Well, hold on.
I'm gonna finish my sentence because this is
Right.
part of the point.
I'm going to put a bookmark right here, though. I'm going to put a bookmark right here.
I
If
don't give a shit.
evolution
Let her
is
finish.
correct, If evolution is correct, we need a transitional species between Eusthenopteron and Acanthostega or Ichthyostega. So you create a hypothesis. You say, well, if there's a transitional species that links fish relatives to land-dwelling relatives, then this animal probably lived somewhere in the time period that's in between when these two fossils are found that was coastal. So then you go and check that coastal period, and you say to yourself, if it's transitional, it should have, if and only if, Anthony, evolution is correct, this set of characteristics. So now you've got your whole hypothesis set up. Now you go looking. This is how it's conducted with every single kind of science out there. If the Big Bang Theory is true, then we need to find these signals. If germ theory is true, then we need to find these kinds of clinical signs, right? That's how a hypothesis is formulated. So then you go out looking. We're looking for our transitional species that links Eusthenopteron and Acanthostega or Ichthyostega. Niels Schumann did it. He found Tiktaalik. He found it in Greenland. It was found exactly where he predicted it would be with the morphology he predicted it should have if and only if, Anthony, evolutionary theory is true. Now, when I say we need a transitional species, we do to support evolutionary theory. And every single time we have ever gone looking, we have found it.